I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The joyful praise will now sing our national anthem. Call on Pastor Saudi for invocation.
Let us invoke God's blessing upon us as we gather to dedicate this beautiful Centennial Park and as we honor faithful servants of the community. Let us pray. Creator God, in the beginning you fashioned a beautiful garden in which you welcomed the sun to rise over the horizon, marking the glories of a new day. A garden in which one could hear the mating call of a meadowlark and the melodious song of the wren. A garden in which radiant flowers beautified the landscape, and in which grains and grass and shrubs and trees grew in abundance. A garden watered by rains from your heavens and sunlight which produced growth and harvest. A garden in which you placed the first man and the first woman as co-workers, saying, "Enjoy this lovely garden and take care of it for me." Creator God, how magnificent is your name in all the earth. In this, the centennial year of our great state, we are grateful that you have placed us in this portion of your garden, known as the Northwood community. We are grateful for its beauty and its friendly people. We are grateful for the bountiful crops, for the sun, the rain, the radiant flowers, the songs of the birds. This and much, much more, which you have so abundantly provided. We are grateful that we can be co-workers with you, adding our touch of caring. As we dedicate this Centennial Park to your glory and honor, may we also take responsibility to keep it beautiful for ourselves and for generations to enjoy. We are grateful for your co-workers who have worked diligently, giving of their gifts of land and labors to make this park and this garden a lovely place in which to live. We are grateful for our special friend, Dr. Delano, who has done his very best to keep us healthy, enjoying life in its fullness. May we all continue to dedicate our labors to beautify your garden in our own unique ways. We pray in our Savior's name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Saudi. Welcome. Welcome to Northwood's celebration of our state centennial. On November 2nd, 1889, North Dakota became the 39th state to enter the Union of the United States of America. Today, we honor those hardy people who sought freedom, independence, and a chance for a new life in the land of opportunity. The seeds of opportunity that were sown by our grandparents are bearing fruit and being harvested each day by all of us here today. Teddy Roosevelt once remarked, "I never would have been President of the United States had it not been for my experiences in North Dakota." I'm sure that most of today's 650,000 plus residents would be quick to agree that life in North Dakota is still a very rewarding experience. We dedicate this memorial park to commemorate 100 years of statehood and to honor all of the people, past and present, who through their efforts have made this day possible. We hope you will enjoy the events that have been scheduled for the next 3 days. Thank you for coming to share in our celebration of this great event. The choir will now sing America the Beautiful. Thank you, choir. Our guest speaker was born and raised on his parents' homestead farm near Alexander in western McKenzie County, North Dakota, where he and his 5 sisters all worked together, helping their parents on the family farm. In 1939, he married Grace Johnson of Cartwright, North Dakota, and they have 5 sons, 1 daughter, and 19 grandchildren. They started farming with his parents and actively operated the home farm until 1971. He served on the local township board, school board, county and state farm security administration, county welfare board, and local and county farmers union offices. In 1946, he was elected to the North Dakota House of Representatives, where he continued to serve until 1971. He served as West District Congressman in 1971 and 1972, and as governor from 1973 to 1981. Art Link presently serves as chairman of the North Dakota Centennial Commission. It is indeed a great honor for me to introduce the Honorable Mr. Art Link.
Thank you very much, Mayor Bilden. Thank you for that warm and generous introduction. I'm going to leave my hat on so that I continue to exemplify what I'm supposed to represent. My co-workers tell me that since we're celebrating the centennial, I should try to look as near to being 100 years old as possible. I don't know if I'm accomplishing that. I assure you I don't feel that way. But I enjoy adding whatever flavor the period costume can impart on festivities of this nature. One of the fringe benefits of having served in public office is coming back to the dozens and literally hundreds of communities of North Dakota and sharing events such as this with people like you, former legislator and co-worker in the legislature, Art Bilden, and many others who are probably here that I will overlook. But it's a deep feeling of satisfaction having worked with fellow North Dakotans, men and women clear across the state. Mayor Bilden indicated that we're from McKenzie County. 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago, we stood on the grounds, the lawn of the McKenzie County Courthouse, which is about as close to the Montana line as you are here to the North Dakota-Minnesota line. So we've truly been across the state in less than 24 hours. And we were invited there to help dedicate a memorial, a granite memorial of the picture of the county, dedicated to the memory of the homesteaders that settled our county. And most of the settlement of McKenzie County took place in a 10-year span at the turn of the century. Quite a bit later than this part of the state, but nevertheless a part of the early history of our state. Now we're here attending another very impressive ceremony. And the community of Northwood here is participating the same as is happening all across the state. Over 600 events of this and related nature are taking place as a result of our centennial celebration. I know that I cannot add anything to the gratitude of the community that you have already expressed to Glenna Uglum in memory of her husband Ray. But let me, for the Centennial Commission and Grace and myself, extend to you our commendation for affording this most fitting memorial to one that you've loved and that your community misses very much. No finer tribute could be given to one of your citizens than to dedicate a beautiful park such as this in the center of this very fine North Dakota community. Our congratulations to you, Glenna, for this expression and generosity. What goes into the planning of a centennial birthday party? I think Mayor Bilden will understand when I say the legislation that created the Centennial Commission, of which I am privileged to serve as chairman, was very, very brief. In the powers and duties part of it, Arthur, it said one sentence: the Commission shall plan and promote activities in North Dakota for the 1989 Centennial celebration of North Dakota statehood. That's all it says as far as powers and duties. Well, shortly after that, the Commission in its meeting said we have to define our role a little more broadly than that. And so we adopted a statement of purpose and principles. And this is what has guided your Centennial Commission since 1985, when we adopted the following principle of purpose in conformity with the direction of the legislature. And it goes like this: the North Dakota Centennial Commission shall serve to stimulate, coordinate, conduct, and assist activities relating to 100 years of statehood of North Dakota in 1989, involving as many people as possible, with the aims of celebrating our state's birthday, instilling pride in our state, profiting from the past, and preserving a legacy for the future. Speaking at the first coordinating conference in October of '85, in opening that conference, I shared these thoughts with the conference, and that the Centennial is more than a big party at a given time or place in 1989. To be successful, it must involve every person willing and able to participate, every social, economic, ethnic, and interest group of our state that can be motivated to become involved. The Centennial celebration in the smallest community must be the biggest and most important event to those who make up that community. And here today, this is the most important event for you in this community. At one meeting that we attended, some people came. 2 women came representing a small community. They said, "We are not even incorporated. There are 6 families in our community. Can we qualify as a Centennial project?" They have a little park, and they wanted a sign at their park, and they wanted to erect a flagpole, and they said, "Could that qualify as a Centennial project?" We said, absolutely yes. Because we made a commitment that the North Dakota Centennial is the people's centennial. And we are tremendously impressed with how the people of North Dakota have rallied around their home communities. Certainly there are a few outstanding events. There's the big century, Party of the Century coming up at Bismarck. There are other big events at bigger communities. But the lasting, remembering things of our Centennial will be the kinds of things that you here in Northwood are dedicating today. Executive Director Buckshot Hopfner and Deputy Director Dennis Newman are working with a dedicated, loyal, hardworking staff in helping to coordinate as many of these functions as possible. And in addition to celebrating events such as this, your Centennial Commission decided that we should truly do something about the legacy of the future. So they directed me at one of our early meetings to appoint a special subcommittee to identify a focal state project, a project that all of the people in the state could participate in and call it the State Centennial Project. Out of that special meeting that was chaired by Hal Gershman, who is a member from Grand Forks, they recommended that the planting of trees, and they first came up with 1 million trees, would be a fitting state project. Then someone said, 1 million trees, why not 1 million trees for each year of the state's age? And that's where the project developed. 100 million trees to be planted in North Dakota over the next 10 years as the state's focal centennial project. And so that's where this project comes. It has taken roots like you can't believe. All over the state, people are planting trees because I don't have to elaborate the benefits of trees to our state, its beauty, and the environment of the whole country. In fact, the idea was so infectious that it caught the attention of President Bush, and we are told that that was the real issue that caused him to decide to accept our invitation and come to Bismarck and help plant a tree, because the entire nation is conscious of what we're doing here in North Dakota. So all of you who are participating in the Centennial Tree Project are participating in an effort that is being recognized nationwide as necessary for the preservation of our environment. What are some of the other projects that are being put into effect in the state? Let me mention just a few. The Centennial Bison Herd on the Cross Ranch Nature Preserve, Fort Lincoln and Custer House restoration, the Bag Bonanza Farm restoration in Richland County, Fort Ransom Living History Farm, a railroad museum and an aviation museum at Minot, railroad museum at Mandan, a Little Egypt Recreation Park east of Williston, Icelandic State Park, Burning Hills Amphitheater, the old Armory restoration as an art center in Williston. Efforts are underway to restoring the Lawrence Welk Home, the All Veterans Memorial that was just dedicated a little over a week ago on the Capitol grounds. If you haven't seen it, be sure to make that a visit at your next trip to Bismarck. The U statue and the Centennial Grove on the state Capitol grounds. The Cross Ranch Centennial State Historic Park. First Centennial Forest east of Williston. And a volume of Native American curriculum for primary, intermediate, junior, and high school classes put in every school. I have a copy here for anyone interested to see. These are things that are considered to be of lasting significance. Needless to say, there are many, many more. In most of these instances, they follow the guidelines that the Centennial Commission encouraged. And that was, we encouraged projects, and that's where yours fits in so very well, that involves many people. We encourage projects that are of broad public benefit, and that's what this park in Northwood will do. And we encourage projects of a lasting nature. And that's why this project and most of these other projects fit that to a T. And that's why the state Centennial tree, 100 million trees in the next 10 years. It involves many people, it's of broad public benefit, and it is of lasting nature. The Centennial Commission will go out of existence in 1991. We're a sunset organization. In other words, we will go out of business, but the tree planting will continue for the next 10 years. This past session of the legislature authorized the establishment of a Centennial Tree Trust Fund. This will assure the continuation of the statewide Centennial Tree Planting Program. I have with me a supply of flyers and booklets here with a picture of President Bush helping plant the tree on the Capitol grounds. I have some here at the podium. I invite you to come forward and get copies. If there aren't enough here, there are plenty more in the trunk of the car. There's enough here for each of you to have one. We invite you to pick one up and become active in supporting the Centennial Tree Program. We are setting up a trust fund of $250,000, already have raised $70,000 toward that permanent Centennial Fund. In closing, let me say to you, Mr. Mayor, to the committee, the clergy, you recognize the outstanding services of one of your retiring citizens in the medical profession, and you've taken cognizance of what these people have meant to you in this community. If I might share a few words that I had with your good mayor as I met him on the street, this is one of the finest examples that we in North Dakota, in our respective communities, regardless of size, one of the finest examples that we can give our young people of being modern pioneers. Maybe there's been some change in our communities. Maybe we've lost some population. But rather than wring our hands and deplore these situations, grasp the opportunities that are here. Accept the change that we can do nothing or little about, but do those things that we can improve, like you are doing here. I think this is recognition of the finest tradition that we, the succeeding generations of those hardy pioneers that in the early days settled this part of the state and in later years settled the western part of the state. That's the commitment that those people had. And if we would be worthy of the good life that most of us enjoy, because they made the commitment that they made, we would do as well as they did. What you're doing here today is exemplifying an appreciation for the early pioneers and those who settled this great state and this community. For the North Dakota Centennial Commission, we are happy to have been invited to be here. Grace and I will stay for some more of your ceremonies later in the day, and then we'll be back to Bismarck because we've got to be off to another celebration tomorrow, and so it goes. But these are exciting days, and we are happy to have come here and help Northwood, North Dakota, join with me. And I'm going to ask you all to do this. After the count of 3, we're all going to say, "Happy birthday, North Dakota." Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, North Dakota. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Link, for those very thoughtful words. At this time, I'll call on Paul Bilden, Graydon Bureau, and Cecil Tenderholt, who will be making presentations.
36 years ago, Dr. Delano, his wife Beth, and their 3 young sons, Richard, David, and Gordon, arrived in Northwood. Northwood had been selected as the place to establish his first medical practice, as he had just graduated from Vanderbilt Med School in Nashville, Tennessee, and was looking for a place to practice. Dr. Delano was born and grew up in Grand Forks, attended and graduated from the University of North Dakota. He served in the U.S. Army during World War II as a medical technician, and then he went back to school. His first office when he came to Northwood was in a building downtown on the present bank lot, where he did practice for some years until the new clinic building was built. Doc's practice grew as people soon learned of his expertise and his genuine interest in them. He has touched most of our lives through the years. He has, excuse me, he's brought over 1,000 babies into the world in Northwood. His concern and good care of senior citizens is well known. Now, there were times in 1971, for instance, when the new hospital was opened, when Dr. Delano was all alone. And this really demanded a complete commitment, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He was the only one here to take call. His devotion to his profession and patients have left little time for other pursuits, but he has found time to serve the community in many ways, many committees. He was honored recently by being named the North Dakota Family Practitioner of the Year. In these 36 years, we have seen our medical facilities grow from the original hospital and home to a modern hospital, nursing home, dental clinic, and medical clinic. And Dr. Delano was very instrumental in this progress for our community. Many partners have come and gone through the years. Excuse me. And Dr. Delano has had many opportunities to go elsewhere, but to our good fortune, he has always decided to stay in Northwood. Now, Beth, his wife, has been a very, very important part in this commitment to our community. And as Doc has commented, I couldn't have done it without her. So we certainly don't want to forget her. We hope that they have many good years of retirement, and we are happy they have chosen to continue to live in Northwood. Now, it's a great pleasure, Doc, and I'd like to have you come up. It's great pleasure on behalf of the community of Northwood that I have the honor to present you with this plaque, if I get it upside down. And it reads, Robert H. Bob Delano, MD, in appreciation for your 36 years of dedicated service to the Northwood community, June 1953 to June of 1989.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Paul, Mr. Mayor, Governor, and Mrs. Link, Glenna. We're very appreciative of all this attention, recognition, but first, if I may, I'd like to present Beth. I was wondering what I was supposed to say as I sat here, and I remember that it was almost 36 years ago, well, within 3 days, that I met Harold Nyaw on this exact spot on the driveway of his service station. At that time, I knew nothing about Northwood. I had not seen the hospital. The only thing I knew was Harold Nyaw came out and said, "We want you here. I'll help you." And he did. He showed me the town. And having lived only 40 miles away all of my life, I had never been in Northwood, and I fell in love with it that day, and we've stayed. We've had a very good life. Paul was wrong, it's not 1,000 babies, it's 1,800. Some of them are now here and grandparents, of which we're very proud. But we've had a good life in Northwood. We plan to stay in Northwood. As you know, I'm a good fisherman, or at least a tempted fisherman. I don't catch many fish, but we have a lot of fun, and we'll be doing a lot of that. Again, we appreciate the recognition, and thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
No speech prepared on this one. I don't think it needs to be. Everybody knows Beth Delano and what she's done for Doc and our community. And on behalf of the commission, we'd like to present you to people.
Thank you.
Raymond D. Uglum was a respected, successful businessman who during his lifetime generously gave of his time and talents to promote the Northwood community. He served on the Northwood City Council, was a former president of the Northwood City Planning and Zoning Commission, and was active in many other religious and civic organizations and events in the Northwood area. Glenna Uglum, the surviving spouse of Ray, on behalf of his family and in his memory, has deeded a portion of the park you see here to the city of Northwood for the benefit of and the enjoyment of future generations. The city of Northwood accepts this property with gratitude and will preserve it as a park to be maintained as a living memorial to Ray's memory. The city at this time, as a token of its appreciation, would like to present a plaque to Glenna. The plaque reads, Glenna Clay K. Uglum, an appreciation for your generous gift of land in memory of Raymond D. Uglum for the Centennial Memorial Park, Northwood, North Dakota, 1989.
Thank you on behalf of my family and myself. Thank you.
I think a few thanks are in order. We have to thank Art and Grace Link for taking time from their busy schedule to be here with us this morning. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We also have a special thanks to Dick Wold, President of the First National Corporation of Grand Forks, who gave a generous gift of $2,000 that will ensure that the Centennial Committee will be able to meet the expenses. Thank you, Dick. Would you please rise? I want to thank the Centennial Committee, Grady, Perry, and Arby, for the time and effort they have given to organize our Centennial. Thanks to the Northwood Mutual Association for their financial contributions. But a special thanks to Scott Adelson. Scott, are you here? There he is. He worked many long hours to get the park to where it is today. Thanks, Scott. Also, we can't forget the city crew, Art Johnson and the city crew. They have worked early, late, and threw the clock away to get it looking as it is. Let's give them a big hand. And then thank you, the entire community, for making this event possible. Because without a community effort, none of this would have happened. Thank you very much. We'll now call on Pastor Mel for the benediction.
Receive the benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Amen.
Would we retire the colors, please? Thank you.
I didn't recognize you, Carl, until you spoke to me.
Is that right?
Yeah, but there, everything came into focus.
I can't get any further over, so.
Yeah.
There was a couple of, maybe a week ago, we had a large crowd in this dining room also, and my introduction remarks were oofed up. Might be appropriate today too. On behalf of the Northwood Deaconess Hospital and Home Association Board of Directors, our staff, and our residents and patients, we want to welcome each and every one of you here today to this special Hospital and Home North Dakota Centennial program. While you're here today, I want to give you a little bit of a commercial here. While you're here today, we'd like to have you, welcome you to walk through and visit with our staff, walk through the facility, tour it. We are all proud to be involved in carrying out the mission of the Northwood Deaconess Hospital and Home Association, and for being a part of the results of the 4 persons. You notice I said persons. There was a lady that gave her home to originally start this program about 1902. Our oldest care facility is 35 years old, so there's a lot of brick and mortar changes that have gone on since 1902. We've had many service changes and additions since that time also. We have made up some special brochures for you today for this program. They look like this, and they're right around the corner by the receptionist counter. I'd like to welcome you to take one of those on your way out and to peruse it later in the day or throughout the week so you can learn more about our mission. Well, that's enough for the commercial. I'd like to ask Mr. Grady Birrolt, the Northwood Centennial co-chairman, to introduce a special guest that he has here today.
He said, I gotta say welcome to Northwood. great joy. Really, it's been interesting, lots of fun. And I'm just going to take about 2 minutes to say that I was a little scared the day I wrote the letter to Bismarck, to this gentleman, because I thought sure he was going to say no. And all of a sudden we got an answer back that he would say yes. And today he's here. So it's a gentleman that's been involved in North Dakota for many, many years. He was in the legislature for a while. He was governor for us for a number of years, I think like from 73 to 81. And now he's been, of course, chosen as chairman of the North Dakota Centennial Commission to celebrate this super event that's been taking place and is taking place all over the state of North Dakota. So everybody hears me talk every day, so I'm not going to do it now, but this time I'd like to introduce to you, and with privilege and honor, the Honorable Art Wing.
Thank you, Grady. I would have to say, Guten Tag, Dankeschön. Verstehen Sie? Yeah, he says he understands. Grace and I are grateful for the invitation to spend this beautiful day with all of you good folks in the Northwood community. As I was privileged to say this forenoon at the dedication of that beautiful park just off Main Street, the North Dakota Centennial belongs to all of the people, the young, the not so young, and those in the mainstream of life. And while it may not be possible for each of you to leave the residence here and be physically in attendance at the celebration and the events that are taking place in the community, we want you to know, the North Dakota Centennial Commission wants each of you to know that you are considered a full-fledged part of the centennial celebration of our state. In fact, I think it could be said that you, without reservation, are the most important part of it. Because without those who came and settled our state and settled our country, and there are those of you in this room today who have been here as long as the state is old, and a few of you even a little longer, it is to you that we, the succeeding generations, owe a deep debt of gratitude. And so it was with that thought in mind that the program was instituted to provide for the sons and daughters of the pioneers. And the certificates that some of you are to receive today, it will be a living recognition to you and your families that the North Dakota Centennial, the citizens of North Dakota, consider you a very active and an important part of the Centennial. To the extent that it is possible for those of us connected with the State Centennial Commission, if you can't come to the Centennial, we'll try and bring the Centennial to you. Our only regret is that we may not be able to do it in every case that we would like to. I'm dressed looking like this because they said we should try to emphasize how they dressed 100 years ago when they went around and presented propositions to the people. I'm not sure if this is exactly the way they dressed 100 years ago, but they said you're supposed to try to look as if I'm as close to 100 years as possible. I don't think I'm doing a very good job of it because I see all these good looking men and women here that are 100 years old, and I know they're the real thing. I'm just a make-believe. So let me say to you and Mr. Grady, Mayor Bilden, and all of the fine folks of Northwood how deeply we appreciate the opportunity to come and spend this celebration, the opening of your centennial celebration here. I shared with the people earlier today, some of you were there, that these centennial celebrations are taking place in dozens of communities. In fact, we've recorded about in excess of 600 events that are taking place during the centennial year in all of the communities around the state. And we think that's a good sign. That's an indication that we have caught the centennial spirit. And it's important that we do that. It's important because we have an opportunity to tell the younger generations what life is all about. It's an opportunity to pass on to them the values that you brought to the state and to our homes and into our families. We should not miss that opportunity. And I'm glad to see the many young people that come to the celebrations. And so, again, let me say that the older generation are as much an active part of the state centennial as anyone in this state. And you're among the finest citizens in the world, and we've come to tell you so. We thank you for your hospitality. And Mr. Administrator of this fine hospital and nursing care facility, we congratulate you. He gave us a cook's tour just before the program started, and to the citizens and residents of the Northwood community and the churches that provide this fine facility, we would give our congratulations and commendations for this caring facility, because that's really what it is. We really care about our citizens. Congratulations to each and every one of you, and once again, thank you for your kind and generous hospitality. And now, happy birthday, North Dakota.
Thank you very much, Honorable Archdeacon, for those words. We are happy as a facility to be able to be a part of the Centennial program and to be part of two particular programs in assisting and passing out the recognition for years within North Dakota. The Centenarian program is a program, I've got to read this to make sure that I get it right here, I guess, are for those who are 100 years or older. Now that should be really easy to remember, shouldn't it? And they receive a medallion, beautiful medallion, and a certificate in that recognition. So, Honorable Archdeacon, would you help us do that by passing out the medallions and the certificates and reading the names for us?
These certificates, this one particular is a centenarian. It's inscribed on a fine piece of parchment paper here. State of North Dakota has the seal of the state in gold. It says Centennial Commission, Certificate of Recognition. This is to Bell Bakken, Centenarian, signed by George A. Sinner, Governor, myself as Chairman of the Commission, Jim Koosler, Secretary of State, and the Executive Director of the Centennial Commission, S.F. Buckshot Hoffner. And at the lower right-hand corner is a reproduction of the official logo, the emblem of the North Dakota Centennial Commission. And if we might now, I'll take it to Belle, if you can tell me where she is. Belle Bakken. The medallion is a solid bronze medallion. It has the Centennial logo on one side. The logo has, as you have seen, the statue of the pioneer family that is well known at the entrance to our state capitol. And on this side is the official state seal. centenarian, the certificate, and the bronze emblem. Peter A.
Come up and meet the governor. You met Governor Lake? That says that you are 100 years old, and it's a congratulations as a pioneer from North Dakota.
Here's the emblem.
That's yours to keep. Uh-huh. Isn't that pretty?
Says that's pretty. Congratulations. Yes. Accompanying the certificate and the medallion is a letter that goes with each of these, and each of them have received the letter that I shall read from the Executive Director of the North Dakota Centennial Commission. He says, the state of North Dakota, through the North Dakota Centennial Commission, sends you warmest birthday congratulations. It's a rare event to celebrate a birthday as a centenarian, but it becomes even more special during this time because North Dakota is about to become a centenarian too. I'm writing because the Centennial offers a great opportunity to recognize our most valuable resource, people like you. No one is more fitting to receive our recognition, respect, and love than folks who grew up with North Dakota and helped the state earn a reputation for having the friendliest people in the nation. This official Centennial certificate signed personally by Governor Sinner, Secretary of State Jim Kusler, Commissioner Chairman Arthur A. Lake, and myself as Executive Director of the Centennial Commission is a token of our affection for you. It recognizes your great achievement of growing in years simultaneously with the state of North Dakota. Best wishes and happy birthday from all the citizens of the state of North Dakota. May God bless you with good health and joy. With kindest personal regards, S.F. Hoffman, Executive Director. And this goes with each centenarian certificate. This next one is for Peter Lycan. Peter Lycan. Here's the medallion. Isn't that nice?
Those are yours to keep.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Cora Sather is the other centenarian. She has already received her certificate, but we have the medallion for her at this time, so she might come and receive her medallion.
He's going to give you a medallion for being one of our pioneers.
program that they've established in North Dakota was the one that is called Sons and Daughters of Pioneers. And it's those who had families that homesteaded in North Dakota prior to 1889.
And where the farmstead is in the family that originated.
Okay. And where the farmstead is in the family for those 100 years. It was a volunteer program that I understand in the sense of submitting information to the state of North Dakota so that they could put it on the computer and then recognize those family members. We only have today those that have done that. So there may be some here that we don't have the certificate for because of the volunteer program. And we would apologize then, I guess, for not being able to recognize you. But at any rate, we have about 30 certificates to be handed out, and they also receive a Child of the Pioneers pin. And what we'll have Honorable Link do is read the names, and we have some staff members that will take the certificates and pins out to those individuals to speed the process.
Thank you very much. Our first certificate is Edith Bannerman. Edith Bannerman, very close here. John Krovick. Clarence Stockton. He's waiting. Raise his hand. There he is. George Gunderson. Edwin Olson. Way back there. Nora Jorgensen. Hilma Land. Evelyn Hagan. Hilda McLean. Coleman Sundry. Hilda Haugen. Elsie Claveberg. Alan Taylor. Way over there. Jewel Entrud. Aloysius Hopper. Rosalia Hopper. Or is it Hopper? Hopper, excuse me. I've said Hoffner, Buckshot Hoffner, I hear different things. H-O-F, I just say Hoffner, but Hopper sounds right. S. Henrietta Sogstead. Andrew Jacobson. Coral Swenson. Myrtle Carlson. Theodore Kruger, Cora Sather, Mabel Nichols, Peter Eng, Minnie Wasness, Selma Hoos, Edward Nelson.
Oh, thank you.
Now let's give all of these recipients, the sons and daughters of the pioneer, a real round of applause. Thank you very much, and do have a most enjoyable centennial. Thank you.
Thank you very much for helping us do that, and we certainly congratulate and honor those who started in North Dakota. Northwood Deaconess is participating also in this centennial celebration by planting a tree. The tree will be planted out in front in the lawn out here right after the program. But before we go ahead and do that, I'd like to say thank you to several people. First of all, would certainly like to recognize that we do have some board members here, at least one board member, the chairman of the board, Cecil Tinderholt, if you'd step kind of out and be recognized. And let's see, is there any other board members? Are there any others here that I may have missed? Okay. I'd like to thank you all for coming to the open house. Marion Bierke was the individual that spearheaded the planning of this afternoon and organized it for us. We want to thank her and her staff for helping out. To Grady Bureau for helping line this up within the Northwood Centennial celebration, and for helping with the attendance of former Governor Lane and his wife Grace. We enjoyed having them here today. For the rest of the staff for helping out and rearranging some schedules to get this taken care of and celebrate with us, and to the auxiliary for serving the coffee and cake, and to anyone else who helped make this a success for us today. Grady, was there anything else that you may want? Okay. Well, we'd like to welcome you then out to, invite you out to help plant the tree or witness the planting of it. And I'm sure we can give you the shovel if you want to do that too. But we would like Governor Link, of course, former Governor Link, to go ahead and throw the first shovel of dirt on it. Don't forget to pick up a brochure if you'd like. Thank you.
I'd like to make one quick announcement. We have decided to take those residents who would like to out to the park on Sunday for the church services in the morning. So if you want to talk to your family, if they would like to come along or whatever, and we'll have a sign-up list as usual in the activity room. 10 o'clock church services out in the park on Sunday. I'll repeat an announcement. Governor Link will plant the tree, and maybe afterwards you come in for a few minutes for any of you that would still like to have pictures taken.
Beautiful blossoms for us to see.
Yeah, she's a farmer's wife.
Should be able to plant.
Sure.
He was out in the open.
And you're steady.
They wrote these miniature of this. Oh yes, we'll see them in the newspaper. We'll get to watch it on videos. That'll be really